Hey, everybody. Welcome to Game Mess Mornings with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from giantbomb.com. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about spending more money on video games and beating the scalpers at their own game. It's going to be a good one because we have Jason Fanelli on the show. Jason Fanelli, Friday is back.
Hey!
How are you doing?
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I love
Jackpot. Doing okay. Slowly but surely pulling myself towards Summer Games Fest.
Same.
I just wanted to start. Damn it! I'm tired, and I just want to be in Los Angeles with my buddies.
Exactly.
But other than that, things are fine. I am very much on the holy crap, mixtape is great train that has been taking over the socials. But I'll tell you what. Sorry, I'm booking a Summer Games Fest appointment as we speak.
I mean, listen, you got to do it. I get it. That's where we're at.
This one I have to do, and I'll explain why after we go off the air.
Fantastic.
The reason I like this game so much, a lot of people are talking about the nostalgia of being a teenager in the 90s and things like that. I wasn't that. I was 3 years old in 1990.
Yeah.
For me, it's the nostalgia of I just played an entire game with teenagers and not a single one of them was doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what that show with Matt Reed, I can't remember his name, but it's the new Apple Plus show. It takes place on like a Cape Cod kind of island, and it's a modern show. It's contemporary, but they have a reason why everyone can't use their cell phones. They're on an island off the New England shore, like 3 hours away, and you're not going to get reception. And I was like, yeah, if I was writing a show today, I would try to find the setup to not have people on their phone all the time.
Widow's Bay, according to the chat.
Thank you, chat.
But like, so there's a part where you're multiple parts where you're skateboarding through the town. And in one of them, you're skating through a shopping mall as it's being built.
Oh,
how many
back when there was hope in the world.
How many kids in this day of age will have seen a shopping mall being raised as opposed to being raised? That, to me, is what makes this game so fucking powerful. That and the soundtrack is absolutely absurdly good.
Yeah.
When that,
I agree.
like the part where they're in the car and they're just jamming out the silver chair, and then they go to the drive-through, and then they're just jamming out more with their food in their hands. Shit was funny. I enjoyed that a lot. Yeah,
I'm with you. I do not agree with this idea that because of the setting and the music, it is a nostalgia play for one specific group.
Not at all.
I would point to the popularity among children of Stranger Things. To me, that's all the proof I needed that you can couch it in nostalgia, you can couch it in bait, but the kids will be into it if it's about like children and it feels real enough. And I don't like people argued with me when I made this point on Blue Sky a few weeks back, Jason, that Stranger Things is for kids. And now guess what the Happy Meal toys are right now?
We got them yesterday. I couldn't believe it.
Stranger Things.
I'm like, Charlotte, what's your toy? She's like, Vine Crawler. I said, excuse me? So I looked at, and the box said Stranger Things Tales from 85. It's this cartoon version. I went, she's like, Dad, what's Stranger Things? I'm like, you're not going to like it. I guarantee it. You're afraid of bugs. So I don't think that's for you. But yeah, that was wild. I couldn't believe it.
So you can set things whenever, and as long as it feels honest, and this game certainly does that. It's, I think it will rub some people the wrong way. I was telling Mike last night on the show, if you were too cool for these kinds of kids back in the 90s or the 80s or the early 2000s, you're probably going to feel like you're too cool for this game. I was not that. I was not too cool. I was happily trying to be one of these cool people, and this game gets that. So
I'm not going to sit here and say that I was a stoner or like looking for people to get me booze on the weekends. I didn't get drunk for the first time until I was 21, and the first time I ever got drunk, I called my mom. That's the kind of guy I am. But I had friends who were like that, people that I hung out with in drama club or whatever, or drama group, and that's just, they were fine. They were cool. So I am playing this game and reminiscing about those people in high school that I was friends with at the time, wondering what they're doing now. And that's where it got me. That and the lack of technology and just, the visual of a shopping mall being built. Yeah. It was wild to me.
I think what really got me was the car sitting on the soundstage with the rear projection instead of like, it's a video game.
Yeah.
You can make it's all artifice, so you can do the artifice however you want. You can try to make it be like they're really driving the car in this memory. It's like, no, we're going to use the artifice in a different way, and it feels very Wes Anderson in a way where it's like, Oh yeah, Wes Anderson does kind of present his movies the way like video games are made in some ways, like the just the vignettes and the setting being set up in a way where it's like, oh yeah, someone designed this, and this game does that as well. Maybe in a way that I appreciate even more than Wes Anderson at this point. But I'm early on. Well, I'll finish that game at some point soon and see how I'm feeling.
Yep.
All right, let's explain ourselves. It's Giant Bomb. Go to giantbomb.com/join and become a premium member. If you do, you're going to be supporting independent games media. Thank you so much for doing that. If you do it, it's going to get you ad-free versions of our shows, access to premium shows, early access to some shows that go up early for premium users, like starting on, I think we're starting on Monday with the endurance run for Bully. It was a lot of fun to do that. You should check that out, and you can do so early if you're a premium member. giantbomb.com/join. All right, let's see here. And then as far as this show goes, most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you're watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS feed on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Nintendo announces sweeping price hikes for Switch 2. This is from Ollie Reynolds at Nintendo Life. Nintendo has announced that the Switch 2 will be going up in price globally, with the Nintendo Switch Online also receiving a price hike in Japan. Hardware price revisions are effective from the 25th of May, 2026 in Japan, and the 1st of September in Western markets. So expect a rush on these systems right now. If you were waiting on the sideline, I wouldn't be surprised if this starts like selling out in the next couple of weeks as people try to get the good price for the several games that they want to buy at this point. Nintendo states that the changes are due to changes in market conditions and the global business outlook. They pointed to the culprits here, tariffs and component prices. And they said that was costing them like 100 billion yen. So they want to offset that because investors weren't happy with them not raising the price up to this point. Kind of felt like Nintendo was between a rock and a hard place. We sincerely apologize for the impact these price revisions may have on our customers and and other stakeholders, and we deeply appreciate your understanding. So yeah, it's going up $50. Basically, it was $450 in the United States. It will now be $500. There are price it's going up 30 euros in Europe. It has not been specifically announced how much it's going to go up in the UK. It's going to be going up 50 Canadian dollars. So now that price is 680 Canadian dollars.
Oh man,
sorry everybody. And then Japan is going up an equivalent amount. I think we've been saying for months and months, they're going to raise the price. They're going to raise the price. And then as it was taking long enough, just recently, I'm like, I don't think they want to, if they can get away with it. That is the sentiment among investors recently, was that Nintendo didn't seem to want to raise the price. And that's one of the reasons the stock price was going down. They were, again, getting mad at Nintendo for not doing that. Nintendo's pretty good at sort of resisting the pressure from investors. But this looking at the numbers here, I think they're just like, look, if we don't do it now, there is no guarantee that the pressures that are causing us to want to raise the price in this moment are going to go away. But people might not be as receptive later on. So we got to maybe just get away with it while we still can. And this is not get away with it as in we're going to be taking more money. It is just kind of getting them back to the amount of money they were making from selling a Switch 2 at launch. They're just trying to get back to that level. This still sucks because I think people were already shocked by that price when it first got announced. It seems like people were beginning to settle in to accept it, especially as there were games that they wanted to play. Over and over again, you saw that play out with Pocopia, of people being like, I don't want to get this. And then a day later, they have a Switch 2 to play Pocopia. I think Nintendo was happy to get into that groove, and now this throws a wrench in the works. What do you think, Jason?
I think it was inevitable.
Wait, Jason, real quick. I think we're getting that phone interference again from your...
God damn this phone.
Yeah, there we go. All right, hell yeah. All right, go ahead now.
I need a new phone. I think it was inevitable. I do. I think them raising the price was inevitable, but I also think it's a very strategic raise in that it has basically gone back to the launch price with Mario Kart. right? It is not
Yes.
above that. So you can make the argument is basically if you waited this long, you're going to pay what you would have paid at launch, but you don't get Mario Kart.
You don't get Mario Kart.
That's the extra incurred fee you'll get here. And if you weren't going to get Mario Kart, that might not be, it might just be like, oh shit, I'm paying $50 now, right? So optics, from an optics perspective, it sucks.
Yep.
And I think the main takeaway for me here is Nintendo felt like a last bastion, right? The longer they could resist, the longer they could go on holding off these investors who you're not raising your prices, and that makes me sad. Like, I give a shit what they think. But if now the chaos of the market has convinced Nintendo to raise, I was always a little worried, but now I'm starting to be like, how long are we in this for? How long is this long haul going to be?
Just survive to 25, Jason. That's all.
Yeah, it's here's the thing about that. That was 18 months ago or whatever.
Fuck.
So we're definitely past that by now. I'm just really worried about video games in general, which is weird to say, not to be all big picture about it, but from the stories we're going to talk about in a little while to this, it is very interesting to me that of the three companies that make consoles, Xbox has the most positive news this week, which, in a month ago, I would have thought to have been absurd. But I saw this headline this morning and immediately thought, oh shit, here we go. This is the one. This is the market indicator I was afraid of. And here it is right on my lap.
Yes, it is. The thing where, the reason everyone thought it was inevitable, the reason you thought it was inevitable is because it was going to happen. Like, this was just going to happen. Everyone knew they were going to raise this price at some point. And, I think they did try to put it off for as long as they could. I think that they are in a position where, because it seemed like earlier this year, there were questions around how excited people were about the Switch 2. And then now we're on the other side of that. No one's really questioning that anymore. And they did get to pretty close to what they said they would sell in the first fiscal year of Switch 2s. They were saying, I think, 20 million, and they sold something like 19.7 million units in that first year. So they've kind of like, hey, we've hit everything. Obviously this is going to hurt our momentum a little bit, but we might have momentum to spare. And I think for them, they look at it as, we've not done Mario yet. We've not done Zelda. We have Pokemon Wind and Waves coming early next year. So let's go ahead and do this now. And it's kind of similar to what happened with, I think, Sony and Grand Theft Auto 6. They're like, let's do it now because Grand Theft Auto 6 will sort of wash over all this. That capital of people's excitement about video games, it's not like infinite, right? Like, eventually it does push enough people out that people get bummed about the entire business, and we just start looking for entertainment elsewhere. Or, as many people in chat continue to say, I'll go play old stuff. I'll just go play stuff I already have. This is trying to keep up with this is infuriating, and it's kind of defeating. Like you just feel like, oh my God, kind of get my head above water. Then I turn to video games and I'm like, what am I excited about? And it's like, oh, anything I'm excited about, I feel priced out of. That is going to add up over time. And these companies continue to flirt with, where's the line for that? And I think we're going to find out at some point here real soon.
This is supposed to be an escape. And when the escape vibes are just as bad, if not maybe in some cases slightly worse than the thing you're escaping from, that is a problem. I am... Oh, I know we're talking about Summer Games Fest already. I am genuinely interested in what the vibe is going to be. You know what I mean? Like, it was weird last year, but then again, there were protests happening all around us. That had something to do with it. This year, I don't know. Like, there are things to be excited about. I am looking at my schedule. There are things on this that we can't talk about yet that are to be exciting about. But if people don't have the consoles to play them, or can't afford the consoles or the PC rigs to play them the way that they're meant to be played, how long is that excitement going to last? You're exactly right. It's foreboding, and the news isn't getting any better as we move along the list of news here. But for now, all I can hope is this is it, and they can resist long enough to stay here, maybe not price everyone out, and then eventually, if and when things turn around, go back to that 449 and start over, basically.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about how Switch 2 is done and what they expect. So they're kind of building in a decline in expectations to this price increase. So Switch 2 is just shy of 20 million. Ollie Reynolds at Nintendo Life writes, Nintendo has released its end-of-year financial data, confirming the Switch 2 has sold 19.86 million units. That is way ahead of like where the Switch 1 was at this point.
Yeah.
Obviously, we as we've said from the beginning, that story is a supply story. They've had more supply than just about any console's ever had through its first 12 months, and they took advantage of that. And then so there's a two-pronged factor to their outlook going forward. Their outlook for the next fiscal year for selling Switch 2s is significantly lower than what they've actually done for the first year. So they sold about 20 million. For the second fiscal year, they are expecting to sell about 16.5 million. Now, it's not always like 100% consistent that year 2 does better than year 1, but there is a typical bell curve of systems sell a certain amount in year 1, then usually a little bit more in year 2, and then year 3 and 4 and 5, it peaks, especially around year 4. Now, in the past, you could count on that because lowering prices would bring more people in. That is not what we should expect this time around, obviously, but you should still kind of see an increase unless things have been completely flipped on their head, which I think is we had Matt Piscatella on the show a few weeks back when he had the most recent Circana report. And, we kept talking about like, yeah, this is a launch system unlike any other in terms of the amount of supply. And that really kind of throws all of the numbers off in terms of what you can expect. I think the demand from people who would normally be showing up right about now has already been met because people rushed out to get these things because, one, they were available, and two, everyone knew these price increases were coming. So they kind of were motivated to act. That will just mean inherently there's less people to buy the system in year 2. But do you think that is a trouble spot? Is this worrisome for Nintendo?
Not if they see it coming, right? It'd be one thing if they had this ultimate hubris and they were like, we're going to sell more in fiscal year 27 than we did in 26. And then they have to come back and change their projections in the middle of the fiscal year, right? If they can sort of prepare for this and see, maybe try to compromise for it somehow, or just basically buffer themselves from it, they can come out the other side, potentially in greener pastures. And maybe in fiscal year 28, it goes up a little bit, or in fiscal year 29, it goes up a little more. But I like that they have the foresight to know that this is not going to go the same as the first year.
Right.
That is a level of self-control that is kind of rare in any business sense right now. Just look at all the AI data centers and the reason these prices are going up to begin with. So I admire their restraint, but as I said in the previous segment, just as a whole, I have this sense of dread and foreboding, and Nintendo is not immune to that. Granted, they have, as is our next point, their software that we know about is a nice, diverse sort of portfolio, but A, the big holiday thing, we still don't know. That could affect sales. B, the rush on consoles that you mentioned between now and the price going up, they could sell another million in the next 2 weeks, right? 3 weeks. And
Very likely will, yes.
And that might impact their forecast as well, maybe bring it down a little bit further. But I think the elements are there. It's just there are things that they cannot predict or account for that are making them do this. And if they're wrong and they can be pleasantly surprised, great. But I don't blame them for doing it.
Yeah, it's so right. I think it's like there's just so many like friction points. The price increase being number one, obviously, but everyone in chat keeps pointing out, rightfully so, that everything else is going up in price. Grocery prices, like you're going to get hurt from every angle. And no one in this moment is looking around like feeling like, oh, I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. I see us getting on the other side of this. It feels like inflation is going to go bonkers here again soon. Like we were beginning to get it a little bit under control. And now the war, the Strait of Hormuz, these two things are causing all kinds of chaos in how people can predict what just your ability to get food, your ability to afford fertilizer as a farmer anywhere in the world. These are going to cause prices to go up like crazy. And then, we're going to have a new Fed chief here in the United States here in a little bit. And for all of his problems, Chairman Powell did a pretty good job of like slowly landing us coming out of the last hyperinflation that we had. And there was a soft landing. Almost. It's like the wheels were coming down, and then tariffs came in like crazy, and it went wild again. And now they're going to install someone who is going to do Trump's bidding, and that is lower interest rates, which, hey, that will be great for a lot of things. It's going to be really bad for inflation. And so it feels like inflation is going to go crazy again. And that is like everyone is already traumatized from last time. We're not going to be able to handle it. We've been weakened, and we're already kind of weak as a society. Like in the United States, where we've been coddled in a lot of ways. It's gonna be bad. And so, I think if you're a company trying to predict what you can do in the next 12 months, you got to come in on the low side because the uncertainty is unlike it's been in a long time, and we've been dealing with uncertainty for years. So to say that means something. It's gonna be
for sure. Any indicator you need if you don't believe what Jeff is saying, go outside and check the gas price. Gas price at my local gas station is the highest I've ever seen it in my life.
Stand in a grocery store and listen to people talk. Like that's one thing I've not been doing, but like I can't help when I'm at the grocery store. I will overhear conversations of like I haven't heard people like having these tough financial decisions that they're facing in the grocery store in a while. And to have like multiple families having those conversations, it's anecdotal, but I don't think it's I don't think it's some wild point to be like, yeah, that is happening across the country.
No, not at all.
Across the world.
And if you look at like our groceries are done online. I go and pick them up from the grocery store, ordered on my wife's phone. And if you just go and look at like from last year to this year or 2 years to this year, the purchase history and how much that price has gone up and the number of items in the cart has gone down, it's staggering. Mm-hmm. It is a staggering thing to look at. So, and that's the essentials. So now we're talking about video games, which are, as much as people like to think they are or like to make them in their lives, they're not essential. They are entertainment only. And and the non-essential things will be the first things to be hit the most. Gaming chief among that, I think.
So again, let me double check. So the price of the Switch 2 is going to go up here very soon for in Japan, they said. Let me double check here. What did they say?
It was May 25th I saw is Japan, and September 1st here. So
September 1st is quite a ways off. And they're going to almost certainly have a pretty big direct between now and then. And if they announce like Ocarina of Time remake, I mean, that'll get a lot of people who have been sitting on the sidelines because they wait for a Mario or a Zelda to move. They're probably gonna sell quite a few Switch 2s before this because of that stuff. So, what other games do they have to get people excited? Well, I just don't know if excitement's going to be enough to sell a $500 Switch 2 to a lot of people. But here's what they have. They did lay this out. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book is coming May 21st. Star Fox is June 25th. Fitness Boxing 3, which I guess they publish, Nintendo Switch 2 edition, is coming July 16th.
There it is.
And then, before that, Rhythm Heaven Groove is July 2nd. Splatoon Raiders is July 23rd. Busy July. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave is 2026. No date beyond that. And then Pokemon Wind and Waves is 2027. There is several big gaps in the calendar that they are almost certainly going to fill in here with their Nintendo Direct that people say is coming in June, and I believe it. All right, so Ocarina of Time feels like that's really real at this point. Do you expect anything big beyond that? Is Ocarina of Time and Fortune's Weave, Fire Emblem, sort of the tag team holiday games here?
Probably, but as far as the Nintendo Direct is concerned, I have a bit of a tinfoil hat thing, right?
Oh, let's do it.
Let's put the tinfoil hat on. So now we all have to look over our shoulders for the surprise Nintendo Directs. 6 o'clock on Wednesday night. I just thought I was at my kid's dance recital, dress rehearsal, making sure and I'm looking at my phone, and all of a sudden people are freaking out about Fox. If you watch that Direct, right, they make it a point to say that Star Fox and his team have appeared in all sorts of things. And there are 2 games specifically that they show at the end of it. Star Fox Adventures and Smash Brothers, right?
Yep.
Both of those were involved in heavy, heavy rumors before that direct. One was that there was 2 Star Fox game, one a remake, one a new game in an adventure style, and the other is the next Smash Brothers game, whatever that looks like, right? To name them in this out of nowhere direct makes me think that they're sort of priming us for those 2 things to be part of a future announcement. Am I overthinking this?
I don't think you're. I mean, look, the specifics. Who knows? I think mostly though, you're spot on here. I think Smash Brothers, like, it all feels connected, and I like the tinfoil hat here. It's like almost unnecessary because everything that we've said, like all of the reasons Nintendo was making a big deal about Star Fox being in the movie and positioning in there, despite like Chris Melisandre, or whatever the guy's name is over at Illumination, he was saying, oh, we wanted Star Fox in here. We asked Miyamoto if we could use them. Sure, you did. Like, we know what happened now. There was a game coming, and everyone got together and like, would it be, hey, can we put Star Fox in there to sell the game? And can we make people excited about the movie because there's a game coming and it's synergy and stuff like that? It's pretty transparent what's going on here. And the reason you would want to build up Star Fox, I think, is because also that is a character people recognize from Smash Brothers. And you can then feed whatever happens with this game back into that, and then that game could feed back into, yes, the follow-up Star Fox game that I do think is coming, whether it'll be like Star Fox Adventures or some amalgamation of all those games, I don't know, but you're right. They named that game. Well, there was that. It was Smash Brothers, and there was a bunch of other Star Fox games that did not get called out in the same way. I don't think that is coincidence. I don't think that's just like, oh, they just picked a couple of games out of a hat. I think that was deliberate.
Now, Adventures could end up on GameCube NSO, too.
I think certainly that is happening. I think that is the one thing I think is a safe bet coming out of this. Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, so that both of those things being in that direct, and then remembering the rumors of 2 Star Fox games, and then just earlier this week was the Smash Brothers rumor, I think, that they have Sakurai back in the Smash Brothers minds, or whatever that was. Yeah, something, there is a fire underneath all this smoke. I just don't know what it's burning yet.
Yeah, what was so Sakurai did Kirby Air Riders, right? So it's like,
yes,
certainly they want to have Smash ready to go soon. Usually they have it in year 2. So we're just coming up on that, like right now-ish. I think if they have that ready to go, and I'm still of the opinion it's going to be a smaller update rather than a full new game. Smaller update.
Switch to edition.
Yes, Switch to edition, exactly. With a lot of extra stuff. I think they will do that. But that's something they can get ready for early next year. Like, I don't know if that's a holiday game this year. That at this point, that feels crazy, but I guess it could be. What do you think?
Knowing that, well, no, not with Air Riders coming out, but I was saying, knowing that crazy son of a bitch, it would be a shadow drop when the direct happens. No, I could see it in let's see it. In 2018, it released the day after the Game Awards. So it could be their December game.
Yes,
right?
So they do that, yes, frequently.
Which was
especially with Smash
Prime.
Brothers. Smash Brothers has been in December multiple times now.
Yeah, Metroid Prime 4 was December, I think. Yep. So it could just fit right into that slot. And that alone could carry Switch 2, even with the price increase, could carry Switch 2 holiday sales.
The Smash audience is its own thing, and it's massive, and they do not miss a game. They show up as soon as that game's available. That's when they buy the system. That's the thing that Nintendo, for as much as they might have been dragging their feet or presented themselves as dragging their feet on raising the prices, they knew they can get away with it because they have all these activation points yet to come. Smash Brothers being, I think, maybe first and foremost, the most obvious one. Like the guaranteed, no matter what you do, as long as you put out an update to that game, that audience will show up to play it on Switch too. And then Mario and Zelda being right there with it. And all of those being yet to come, it's like, they kind of feel like they have a lot of slack to work with. Hopefully we find out a lot more soon. Early June Direct. Please, I want it. I want to see what's going on. If I already bought this system, I'm pot committed. So let me see what games you got. And I hope that they can keep justifying new people coming in and buying that system so that we keep getting cool games. But I don't blame anyone who's going to look at this price right now and just be like, no, thank you. I've got other ways to play games, and I'm going to protect my money because these companies obviously don't care, and they don't.
Nope.
All right. We got plenty more to talk about, but let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, headlines like Sony's financial reports, and man, Bungie getting dinged a little bit there. We'll talk about that after these messages. If you want to skip out on these, giantbomb.com/join, become a premium member. We will be right back. We're back with Game Mess Mornings. I'm Jeff Grubb. That's Jason Fanelli on a Fanelli Friday. Let's get to this next story. Sony forecasts lower gaming business sales amid memory price surge. Yes. This is from Sam Nussey at Reuters. Reuters had a summary here, which I'm going to skip, but we could refer to that if we need to. Let's see here. They write, Sony opens a new tab forecast on Friday annual sales at its gaming business. As its gaming, did I just read new tab, even though it's just written in here like it's part of the story? It is. That's how Reuters had it. Sales at its gaming business would fall 6% to 4.42 trillion yen. That's $28 billion due to lower hardware sales as its PlayStation 5 ages and as the industry grapples with a surge in memory chip prices. The Japanese company, however, said it expects gaming profit to rise 30% due to higher first-party software sales and the absence of an impairment loss it recorded a year earlier. Let's see here. The PlayStation 5 is in its 6th year on the market. The profit forecast incorporates investment in Sony's next-generation platform. Sony has received a bunch of, basically, they go on to talk about they're making more money from their gaming business than they've ever made, and yet there's a lot of problems still. And one of those things that they brought up is Bungie. Essentially, they said Bungie's not worth what they paid for it, is what that impairment thing is. So we'll kind of get to that more here in a second. Before we talk about that, though, sounds like Sony is in a strong position, but every time they have these like financial reports and talk to their investors, the investors always come away from it being like, yeah, the business we thought was doing good, PlayStation, is doing fantastic, but we don't see where the obvious growth points are. And that has been Sony's sort of issue for years now, of like, they've done a great job of optimizing the business that is successful for them. And now the investors and everyone are looking around like, how can you squeeze in even more money out? And I go like, man, that's your problem, figure it out. But they're making it our problem because they keep saying, well, one way we can do this is getting more money from the people who do spend money on video games. And the problem is everyone in this industry is having that same idea at the same time, as evidenced by the last story. So PlayStation, more price increases could come, but I think they would be a little bit more stealthily presented, where it's like, oh, we'll just raise the price on some accessories here or there, but they're going to find more ways to make more money off of us, despite the fact that they've made more money this past quarter than they've ever made before. How do you break this all down, Jason?
The Japanese company said it expects gaming profits to rise 30% due to higher first-party software sales.
Yeah,
what
that's
first-party software.
I mean,
what are we talking about here?
Wolverine's coming, right? Wolverine's going to be huge, right? So I think, do we assume Wolverine is right behind Spider-Man in terms of like what it's going to deliver in sales? Because Spider-Man is the standout sales success for PlayStation. That's
for two reasons.
Yeah,
three reasons: Insomniac, Marvel, and mature. I think the mature rating is going to help that game out. Sorry, not to interrupt you, but yeah, I think people trust Insomniac with Marvel, and it's a new take on Wolverine, the Venom parts of Spider-Man 2, I think, will be closer to what the Wolverine experience will be, if that makes any sense at all.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Like Spider-Man is more agile, swinging around. Venom is more about, beating face. So I think if you wanted to try to get an idea of what to expect, just with more blood and gore and guts and all that stuff. But yeah, is it just Wolverine though? Like that's where did Soros sell that well? I mean, do we even know yet?
We don't know, except for there was a story yesterday. I think it was Push Square or the Six Axis. I can't remember. They were trying to do like early reporting on sales for Soros, and they said that the April games chart that Sony puts out for like PlayStation Network sales or whatever, Soros was like 11th in North America and 17th in Europe after just a couple of days. On the UK chart for physical only, it was behind Tomodachi Life and Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition, which I guess I didn't realize was new and had come out. But it's like, okay, so they presented it as it might be a little weak in terms of how it's doing. I would say we still don't know for sure. But that game's $70. I just got to imagine a lot of people are waiting on the sideline for that thing to go down in price. People don't want to pay $70 for a lot of games. And I think for as good as Housemarque has done as like clothing themselves in the look of a premium PlayStation studio. I think they've done an admirable job of that, making their gameplay style look like one of those big expensive games. I think there's a lot of people who are still like, $70 is a lot of money, but we'll find out. I don't think Saros is part of this conversation, though, Jason, if that's what you're asking. I think it really does come down to Wolverine.
Oh, well, Marvel Tokon.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
They're publishing that.
Yes, they are.
Arc Systems is developing. Is that first party? Yeah.
I mean, it counts as first party. If you're publishing, it's first party, yes.
Okay, so maybe they see a little more in that than other people do. Now, look, I'm as much of a fighting game sicko as the next guy. That is not, if not number one, top 3 on my list, most anticipated games of the year. But is that going to move that much software for PlayStation fans? I don't know. I mean, are they really just banking on this new take? It's Marvel again. Marvel and Sony seem really intrinsically linked this year.
I mean, they made a lot of money together, so yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't see what games they're coming out with except for what we already mentioned. Did baseball sell that well? And also, too, there's no PC ports.
Yeah,
not they sold a ton, but like, there's still a couple of million sellers there. Where is this coming from?
So, I mean, I'm trying to, like, what would have been the big game from the previous fiscal year from them that would be a comparison point. So I do yeah, so I think Wolverine's bigger than Ghost of Yotei. Ghost of Yotei is a very successful game, but I think Wolverine's going to be an order of magnitude larger than that. And so that would explain a pretty large chunk of that increase that they're expecting. As far as the hardware, they are saying a 6%, or no, this is across the board, a 6% drop in annual gaming sales. So it's like, that's a pretty big number. And they do kind of chalk that up to the hardware and then just losing money from selling hardware due to the increased cost of memory. But you're right. Like, when it comes to people buying games and getting excited, they're seeing a big reason for that, a big increase for that. You know, a part of it could just be a wake effect of, hey, we're going to sell a lot of PlayStation 5s when Grand Theft Auto 6 goes out. And in that moment, I bet, this is Sony saying that, we're betting people will buy one or two other games, and very likely that's going to be a first-party PlayStation game in a lot of cases. Actually, it's probably going to be like NCAA football and Madden, but maybe the third game will be a PlayStation first-party game.
Yeah, that makes a little more sense to me. That I could see just add-on sales, basically. You could see an uptick in Yotei. You could see an uptick in maybe God of War Ragnarok and stuff like that. Stuff that people who have waited this long to get a PlayStation have not actually played yet. That makes a little more sense to me. But as far as like what was coming out for the rest of the year, I went to the number one resource for games coming out. Unfortunately, Game Informer's number 2. My mind always goes to Wikipedia. That's the video games release in 2026. And so they had, other than what we just talked about in Tokon and Wolverine coming, they have Horizon Hunter's Gathering, that multiplayer game.
Yes, they do.
And then they're publishing the new Kena, Scars of Cosmora.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, right. So these are small. They are likely going to have a PlayStation State of Player showcase here soon to fill out the rest of the year. Leading up to Summer Games Fest, as they normally do. It's usually the Wednesday or Tuesday before. Yeah, but like they have their big. Like what could that be? Because like we're Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, Intergalactic is probably not coming out until next year or later. Like that Cory Barlog game is probably. I mean, it might get announced, but I wouldn't expect it this holiday. I mean, I don't know. So yeah, I think it's Wolverine. I think it's Wolverine and the GTA 6 Wake Effect. And the unexpected remake of Viv Ribbon. Yeah. Okay. Well, never mind. That's it's a first 10 billion seller. It's just issued to every person on Earth. All right. Let's. There's a lot of other aspects of this. Let's talk about that Bungie side of it. Sure. So Sony is admitting Bungie is not worth what Sony thought it was worth. So the PlayStation business is doing fine. Operating income hit a record, but buried inside of that whole thing was a write-down for Bungie of 120.1 billion yen, which is around $765 million. And that's against Bungie's intangibles and other assets. All that really means is they're saying, hey, we have this asset called Bungie on our books, and we spent X for it. And so when we talk about what we're worth, that worth was built into that number, and Bungie was a part of that. Now, as we reassess, we kind of have to pull back. And as they do this, I'm sure they get tax benefits and all this stuff, because it's like we're not worth as much as we said we were because this company's IP, the things it's putting out, just aren't producing what we thought they would. And I got to think here, Jason, that the real story is when PlayStation and really Sony acquired Bungie to be like our live service experts, our team that is going to unlock the world of live service to us and show us what that, like how it ticks and what it do. And I think Bungie gave them the answer, and that answer was, it's hard as shit out here. We don't know what we're doing, and we are the experts. We don't know how to guarantee a hit in the live service space. We know how to spend a lot of money to make a game, but even we don't know how to like get one of these out the door flawlessly with all the excitement intact. And even when we do it with like going back to Destiny 2, that is up and down, and there's just as many downs as there are ups. And I think Sony's got to just be like, okay, man, that was an expensive lesson to learn at this point. Yeah. What do you think?
I think that they are definitely licking their wounds here. And I think Bungie hasn't exactly helped themselves with some of the insane decisions they have made. There was a good thread on Blue Sky I was reading about how Destiny 2 now, which is supposed to be their foundation, right? It's supposed to be the game that makes them the money that allows them to do other things at this point. With, going back to the first Destiny, it being 13 years old. Apparently, if you were to sign into Destiny 2 for the first time, you're thrown in multiple expansions in where characters you already know who you are and familiar with you, but you don't know who they are. It's completely incoherent. So anybody who's like, oh, what's this Destiny thing all about? They're going to jump in and be like, what the hell's going on here? Why is this happening? As somebody just said in chat, if you're a new user trying to play Destiny 2, none of that shit makes any sense, right? So that'll take you right out, and you go try and play something else. And then you have Marathon, which it sounds like is performing where they want it to.
It's not performing where they want it to, but it's performing pretty well. I think it's performing better than people should have expected, actually. Right. But it's not doing what they needed to.
And I think it really caught fire when it first launched, but that seems to have sort of mellowed out.
I think it's found its audience because every week it's on near the top of the Bomb 12, and I know again that's basically anecdotal. It is, but I think that excitement is there in that community, but it's not as big as they needed it to be out of the gate.
Yes, but I will say the vibes around Bungie are not great. Tuesday night, I was at my local card shop playing Magic, and one of the guys there, big Bungie guy, played Destiny forever, playing Marathon now. He said, like, it's one thing to support Marathon the way that you are, he said, but Destiny 2, they basically abandoned. Like, we don't know when the next expansion's coming out. Even their established fan base is like, what the hell's going on here? Like,
is that true? I'm not following it, but I thought someone in the chat the other day mentioned that there's an expansion launching soon, but I just kind of glanced at it. So I really, really honestly do not know.
He made it sound like it was pushed back a couple of months, this guy on Tuesday night. I don't really follow it either. But yeah, I don't, this doesn't, I mean, you're going to look at that number, $765 million, and be like, holy shit. But when you really dig into it, it kind of makes sense. It's almost like Sony was sold a bill of goods.
Yeah. They overpaid for sure.
They absolutely overpaid. There you go. Next expansion got delayed till June. Thank you, Mr. Papa Chat in Twitch chat.
There it is. Yeah. So someone else said July. Others said we don't know. So
there it is. It is.
I think
there's
that's the point.
My point being made in real time. Nobody fucking knows what's going on with Bungie or their games, and that's a problem. And that's why this happens.
All right, let's keep going here. There's more to this Sony stuff. They did talk about AI. And from Stephen Tailby at Push Square, I'll get to the write up here in a second, but I'll point out there was a time recently where I've been saying there's big companies in this world that like have a moratorium on using AI, and one of those companies was Sony. The other one I think is Nintendo. That they kind of tell their developers, do not use it. We are afraid if you use it because of legal reasons, so just don't use it. That does sound like that is changing over at PlayStation. Maybe not for generative AI, but they do seem to be a little bit less concerned with that. So during a Q&A session following the release of its latest financial results, Sony and PlayStation's top brass outlined plans for the use of AI technology within the business. It seems that the through line guiding the company's approach is that AI should serve as a tool to aid creators and make certain processes more efficient rather than replacing staff. Yeah, we've heard this basically every time when a company starts talking about it, and I think we all have the same feeling about it. Yes, that will be the story from the company until they could start reducing costs, which we know what that means: job losses, job cuts. And so it's like one thing is true until the other thing is true, and it does feel like that is because that is the other side of the coin of, hey, we are a company that is making more operational revenue than we've ever made from our gaming business, but we don't know where the growth comes from. So we're going to tell our investors we're going to make more money from the people spending money on games. The other thing they can do is cost reductions. And that's the AI is the one thing that these companies keep saying is a way to do that. So it does feel like we are just waiting for that other shoe to drop. But how are you feeling about PlayStation kind of come out and be like, hey, yeah, we are pretty gung-ho on this AI stuff?
I know what you're thinking. I'm thinking I'm going to get loud here. And I am still very much, I don't know about that, man, because if you read this example that they gave, now granted, they're probably giving the example that makes them look the best.
Yes, absolutely.
But this Mockingbird example where they're using it for like intricate facial models or animating hair almost sounds like Speed Tree for humans.
Yeah.
Right? Like that doesn't bother me. Speed Tree is just machine learning. That's a little bit different. And they might be using AI as the buzzword to grab the investor.
I do think that's part of it as well. Yes. But
I also think this all serves the greater notion that they want to start using AI more broadly, and fuck that. So I think there's a little bit of dumbing down. I think there's a little bit of things that people wouldn't have a problem with if they read into it and realized what it was. But just the fact that they're using this term at all scares the shit out of me, and I don't want them to do it.
Yeah, I think that you kind of nailed something there with like the buzzword to throw out to investors. This does feel like, hey, we got to sort of say what they want to hear to a certain extent, and they do want to hear AI. How can we frame this in the best way possible? Well, it's like they don't know the difference between machine learning and AI. Let's go ahead and talk about the tools that we've specifically built to make jobs easier for the people that are working here, and label that as AI and get these people excited about that. I do think there's some of that, but we just know where this stuff goes eventually, and the tale that AI and like evangelists tell us about. It's just like the last industrial revolution, and people complained about all the tools that were taking jobs from them. And now look at us. We have a bigger economy than ever and more jobs than ever. And it's like, yeah, but what happened in those 200 years right after the industrial revolution? How were things for people up until like labor laws started to change and unions started to gain power? And they don't have a good answer to that because it's like, oh, that's what we're about to experience again. And these companies will just not have to answer to that. They just have to answer to their investors. And so we keep pushing in this direction. And it's the slippery slope argument, but I think we are actually on a slippery slope. All right. PS6 release date and price not decided yet, says Sony. This is kind of a duh story to me.
No shit.
Yeah, no shit. Like the release date, release timing, obviously they have an idea in mind, but they're moving it because the reality on the ground is changing all the time. Price, they don't really, they have a price window that they know, like, and then they have a scenario written out for all the possible prices. Absolutely. But they could settle on a price 2 weeks before this thing comes out or before they start like accepting money for it. It took a long time for them to announce the price for the Xbox Series X and S and the PlayStation 5 because these companies were like playing chicken with one another a little bit. They wanted to charge $600. They're like, the other one might charge $500 and that'd be really bad. So then they both kind of just went and like pressed the green button in the prisoner's dilemma thing. And like, we'll both just charge $500. And okay, they don't want to necessarily do the same thing this time. They want to make as much money as possible, but they also know that they have to like play within the rules. And that means they just pick a price at the last possible moment. So yeah, they wouldn't have no idea in this moment what they're actually going to charge for this thing. They'll have an idea of like what it costs to make it, but those two things are not necessarily one-to-one related.
No. And also too, this time they have the added wild card of Valve.
Yes,
with their Steam machine on top of it as well, because that will be very popular to the people. To some people,
and Steam Deck too, because there's going to be a handheld PlayStation 6, right? So they're going to be competing in a whole other realm.
Yeah, so I was going to say that the Steam machine might not affect PlayStation as much as it affects Xbox because PlayStation is pulling away from PC ports. But if PS6 has the handheld component, then it definitely will have to deal with Steam Deck too. So yeah, I don't think we're going to see anything definitive until like 3 months, 2 months before it comes out. Remember, they didn't announce the PlayStation 5 price until September of 2020, and it came out in November of 2020.
Yeah, man, I didn't remember that timeline, but I knew it was crunched down. Yeah, exactly. And 100% they'll do the same thing again because they saw that it didn't really hurt them all that much, and having that extra time, the extra data, to be like, okay, what is the sentiment as we're a couple of months out? That does help them settle on a price. Last time I think it actually ended up hurting them maybe a little bit because they were trying to get away with a higher price, and then they eventually raised it to that price. But yeah, I think they regret not having a higher price because scalpers just absolutely ran a roughshod on that early part of the generation.
I said Steam Deck too. I didn't announce a damn thing. You settle down, chat.
That's go to Galar, everybody. Gaming Leaks and Rumors. Jason Fanelli says.
Ah, damn it.
Last story here. Valve opens a Steam controller reservation queue to fight scalpers. This is smart. Valve has announced it's implementing a reservation queue for Steam controllers to handle stock shortages. The controller sold out pretty much immediately. There is like one very specific thing here. Here it is. In order to reduce scalping, users must have an account that's in good standing on Steam and must have made a purchase on Steam before April 27th, 2026. That will help prevent scalpers from creating an account and getting in the queue. It's just smart stuff. Now, one of the problems is it's like, well, yeah, they could do this because you could only get this on Steam rather than going to a store, and that's a little bit annoying for some people, but this is one of the benefits of that is they can really control this and lock it down. It's like, oh, this is very smart. So, $250 Steam controllers on eBay. Maybe you won't see too many more of those anymore, and that'll be nice to see.
It's a beautiful thing. It's also a beautiful thing that I don't have to worry about it because I believe mine just hit my doorstep while we were speaking to each other.
Oh, yeah. All right. Fantastic.
So
I'm looking forward to hearing what you think of it.
Yeah, I'll be able to play with that later today, hopefully. But yeah, this is very smart. I love anything that can be done to fight scalpers in any realm. And being a trading card game guy, I deal with that shit a lot. Fuck them. Fuck scalpers. They're right up there with AI and Roblox as my least favorite things in the entire world. Fuck them. And good job, Valve, for putting this system in place. More companies should try and do this. Now, I don't know that. Here's the problem, though. I think most companies like scalpers because they sell the products either way, right?
I mean, I think if anything, it gives them information about like what are people willing to pay, and it's like so it helps push the price up even higher. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, well, good for them.
All right, let's see here. Let's get to the poll question from yesterday, everybody. Mike dropped this one. Are you excited for the new Star Fox? Yes or no? 52% said no. 48% said yes. Maybe 50-50 there. A lot of people are just going to be like, no, not my kind of game anyhow. So I think the fretting about maybe the designs of the characters might be a little overstated, or at least it's not discouraging people from being excited about what looks like a pretty good remake of Star Fox 64 yet again. I think if anything, a lack of enthusiasm comes from the fact that it is another remake.
Saying that the look of the characters has been overstated is an understatement. It took way too long to actually find people excited or not excited about the game as I waded through posts after post after post of how fuckable they are. Y'all need to ice bucket challenge yourselves. All right? Like my first thought when I saw that
make
was
them hornier.
I love Star Fox 64. I can't wait to play it again and let my kids play it and have them check it out. The internet was like, what that butt do? Like, what the fuck are we doing?
How am I supposed to fuck Falco when he's got these weird legs? He's got weird legs.
My favorite post of all of them, though, on Blue Sky was Fox McCloud, Scottish, Pepe O'Hare, Irish, Falco Lombardi, Italian, Slippy Toad, Frog. I pissed myself when I read that.
It's the best ethnicity is Frog, absolutely. All right, we got that poll out of the way. No new poll question because it's Friday. We're wrapping up the week with the Bomb 12 here in a little bit. So let's get everything else out of the way. Jason Fanelli, tell people where they can find you on the internet.
Jay, sorry, I'm laughing at someone in chat wrote Falco Lombussy, and that's just killing me. JasonFanelli.com on Blue Sky, Big Man Fanelli on Instagram. Just wrote up a little primer on Marvel Tokon for the Epic Game Store blog. That should be coming out soon. There's also a certain gaming and parenting based blog by one Patrick Klepek that I contributed to, just waiting for that to go up. We've been editing it, talking back and forth. I pitched that to him at PAX East in that little sports bar. I said, hey, I got something for you. He goes, all right, let's do it. And now should be hopefully soon that'll go up there. Shout out to him. If you're a parent of gamers, or you're a gamer and a parent, Crossplay is his newsletter about being both of those and the trials and travails of that. Check that out. And then, just planning for SGF. I know last week I said of the 26 hours, I had all but 3.5, 4 hours booked. Now that's down to 2.
Yep.
I have all but 2 hours booked, and now things are on top of themselves, and I have to cancel things for double bookings. It's rough out here, but that's the name of the game, and that's why we do it. So, very excited to get that going. Good stuff.
Excellent. All right, real quick here. It's First Light 007 First Light PC specifications went out. Let me look for the Ultra here. What they're asking for, an RTX 5080. That is okay. That's pretty rough. 32 gigabytes of RAM. This is Ultra, everybody. And then a Core i5 13600K. Let's go to recommended 3060 Ti and or a 6700 XT for the GPU and 16 gigabytes of RAM. All right, that's more acceptable. That's medium settings. Okay, you can find that. They just posted that on social media, everybody. Okay, let's see. That's out of the way. Let's talk about what's happening on Giant Bomb. We got UPF later today. Tune in for that. Jan, are we still going to try to play some Star Wars Battlefront 2? You said we could, Jan, please.
I'm the one that asked.
Hell yeah. All right, we're going to do some of that. We'll play some other stuff as well, I think. It's going to be a grab baggy sort of thing. Or maybe we'll just play Star Wars the whole time. I don't know. Tune in for that. That's 3 p.m. Eastern today, noon Pacific. And then there's a ton of awesome stuff happening on giantbomb.com. And, here's the thing. Do me a favor, everybody. Mike's going to be playing Donkey Kong 64 101%. To help us get everyone excited as we hit our anniversary, giving you guys a good excuse to be excited to re-up your subscription stuff like that. But we're also trying to get new people in. Tell people about this thing. Go share it in your Discords. To tell everyone Donkey Kong 64. Someone's doing it again. It's time to bother those beavers once more. Go tell your friends about Mike 101%ing that thing. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be happening all week. It's a marathon. So yeah, do not miss out. That'll be beginning Monday.
Is he going to wear the Donkey Kong suit that Lucy wore?
Yes, 1,000%. I, with my business credit card, Jason Fanelli, ordered that for him and had it sent to his house as part of our regular business operations. That is what we've done here. So yeah, he's going to be wearing that exact same costume. We did try to get the one back from Lucy, but she refused. So whatever. We've got our lawyers out talking to her. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it did look pretty good.
Now, to be fair, y'all, I did not know that ahead of time. I legitimately asked that question, and
that was amazing.
He gave up the goose. Yep. I did not know.
Yep, that's fair. That's awesome. There's also a chance if I get time on Sunday, because it's Mother's Day, I might stream some Earthbound, but no promises. I really want to, but it's a busy time. We're going to be doing our Mother's Day stuff at different times, so I might be able to do it, but we'll see.
Something tells me you would be needed elsewhere, but if that's the case, then maybe
no, Steph doesn't like to do on Mother's Day because she's worked at she used to work as a server and she knew what it's like on Mother's Day, and so we like to just stay at home and do stuff on different days. All right, let's see here. I think we got everything mostly out of the way. What's up?
Is that how she learned to poison you?
Oh yeah, probably. She's basically that makes sense.
But yeah,
all right, let's do it, everybody. It's time to wrap up the week with the Bomb 12, the 12 games that really matter to people who are really playing video games. I have your results right here. And of course, as everyone expected, at number 12, Yoda Stories.
What?
You goddamn kids. You goddamn kids. Get off my lawn. Number 11 is Forbidden Solitaire. Shout out to Forbidden Solitaire. I keep playing that game. It's got so much style. It's got so much grace. It does not have a funny face. Number 10 is Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era. Number 9 is Slay the Spire 2. Number 8 is Mixtape. Number 7, Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. Number 6 is Titanium Court. Number 5 is Vampire Crawlers. Number 4 is Diablo 4, Lord of Hatred. Then number 3 is Pragmata. Number 2 is Marathon. And that means number 1 with our community this week is Saros. Number 1 up there with I kind of squashed Rahul's face a little bit. It looked too funny. I couldn't stop myself.
He looks like he's mad about it too.
He looks like he's mad about it, man. Rahul's, I'm grumpy. No, only number 1. Why not higher? That's what he sounds like, I think. I'm pretty sure. I did a pretty good accent. All right.
it.
So, hey, Bomb 12, we do this every Friday. If you want to submit your game, you can do so by going to giantbomb.com. And if you scroll down, I'll have the updated list of the Bomb 12 right there. And then if you go to the left of that, you're going to see a vote here tab that'll take you to the Google form where you can contribute your game that might potentially be on the Bomb 12 next week as we wrap up each and every week here at Giant Bomb. All right. I think that's going to do it. Jason Fanelli, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
It is always a pleasure, sir. Can't wait for the next time.
Thank you all for watching and listening. You are the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.